Hey book nerds, welcome back to my channel, The Book Nerd. My name is Denise, and today I am finally going to be sharing with you my thoughts on the Reverend Curtis Black series by Kimberla Lawson Roby. I'm finally finished, and let me tell you, I was up until 7 a.m. finishing the last book because I was determined to get to share this my thoughts on the series and move on to some other reading. So my journey with the Reverend Curtis Black series and Kimberla Lawson Roby. I know I'm a little late to the party, so I know a lot of people already finished it. Maybe even some people fell off many years ago. But the series started, I believe, in about 2000, in the year 2000, and then the last book was in 2018. I first got my copy of one of the books, and that was in 2008. My sister bought me the book, and she was like, Denise, you need to read this series. And so she got me the second one in the series, and so I started there, and then I think I bought another one out of order, and I might have read that one. Then finally I went to Casting the First Stone, which is the first book, and then I just kind of stopped reading them, got caught up in other books. And when I did want to read them, I wanted to read them all in order and back to back, or pretty much back to back. So I've been on this journey of reading the series, and I've really enjoyed it. So it started in 2000, I believe it ended in 2018, and first I'm going to show you all of the books that I have and that I've read. The first book is Casting the First Stone. The second book is Too Much of a Good Thing. The third book is The Best Kept Secret. The fourth book is Love and Lies. The fifth book is Sin No More. Make sure I got that for you, Sin No More. The sixth book is The Best of Everything. The seventh book is Be Careful What You Pray For. The eighth book is Love, Honor, and Betray, and I'll have a little more to say on this one. The ninth book, it is The Reverend's Wife. The 10th book is A House Divided. The 11th book is The Prodigal Son. The 12th book is The Ultimate Betrayal. The 13th book is A Sinful Calling, and I'm so mad that I got this in hardback. And I got it because it was on sale. I found it like super cheap at Barnes & Noble in one of those table sales that they have. So now it doesn't match the rest of the height of my books on my shelf, but I can deal with it. But yeah, this one's A Sinful Calling. And the 14th book is Sin of a Woman. And last but not least is the 15th book in the series, Better Late Than Never. This is the one that I finished at 7 a.m. this morning. So this is the last book. I'm not about to go over each book and go through all of that with you, but I did want to kind of just give you my thoughts on the series. So first I'll start with, what do I like about these books? Why did I keep reading them? I know some people stopped. Some people loved them and were diehard Curtis Black fans, or at least the series Curtis Black. They were diehard fans of the series, and so they kept going, and I kept going. For one, I'm really super committed, so when I start something, I have to know how it ends, and it has to be terrible for me to just stop. But I'm super committed with my reading, so I'm not one that usually DNFs books. I will, just finish them, so I'm committed. Another reason I kept going is because I liked the series. I overall really liked the series, and what I liked about it is that it's fun. So sometimes it's over the top, it's just like, sometimes I was just laughing, especially at Curtis Black and his antics. Some of the things that he does when he gets caught is just ridiculous, and so I would laugh. It had me go through a lot of different emotions and things like that, and so I liked that because I felt like I really got to know the characters. I love how Kimberla Lawson Roby, how she gave different character perspectives. So you would see character perspectives and like many of the characters, not just anybody in his immediate family per se, but different ones. So we got that type of narrative, and I love that. I love that it talked about church issues. It talked about things that things that go on in the church. It talked about like perspectives of people in the church. So from being a minister to being like a minister's wife, and the things that they go through and face in the public level in the church and on a personal level at home. And I really love that they touched on that. It talks about forgiveness, and I love that, in love. And of course, it's kind of a religious based series, so of course it talks a lot about those things. I also really like that Kimberla Lawson Roby branched off into different characters' lives. So we got to know more people than just Curtis Black. And so that kept it fresh. We got to see these different characters, and we weren't only solely looking at just one small, like tiny group. And also, she was just really great at just making us get to know the characters. They talk like real, and so they talk, like maybe I would, and I like that. So the characters felt very real to me. Another great thing about the series is the books do touch on some hard-hitting issues, and some, if you have not read the series, I would even say there's some, trigger warnings, so be careful with that. They touch on domestic violence, verbal and physical abuse. There's things about rape in these books. There's things about social media and getting maybe trapped in that. There's things, what else? There's definitely adultery is in this book. And it talks about alcoholism. It talks about mental health issues. It talks about just a variety of things that go on in people's lives, real things, hard things. The family is not perfect, but they do end up, learning a lesson. So there's always kind of a lesson that's learned in these books. And that's some of the things that I really liked about the book. So that kept me going because of the different hard-hitting issues that they talked about. And they even talked about like health things. Like sometimes there'll be health scares, and kind of give you like these subtle hints on how to better take care of yourself. If you're kind of looking at yourself and how would I deal with this situation in terms of health, or even in their family and other situations, how would I deal with that, or how should I? Some things I did not like about the series. Sometimes it was just over the top. Sometimes it was just too much. I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Nobody could act like this. All these people just can't act like this. Another thing that maybe I didn't like so much is sometimes it got very repetitive. There's only so many times you can keep seeing people cheat and thinking that somebody owes them something, and that's why they get to cheat and all of this. So pretty soon that got kind of repetitive, but what she did do is kind of switched it up a bit. So I did appreciate that. Overall, if I were to give this series a rating, like a star rating, I would say I would give it about a 4 out of 5. And so a good solid 4. Some maybe a 3.5, some a 4.5, some a solid 4. So I'm just going to go with the whole series as a 4. If I had to choose favorite characters, or character, because I have only one favorite in the series, that would be Matthew Black. And Matthew is the son of Curtis Black, and he is like the only one in the family that consistently acted like he had some sense. And he just seemed to have a good heart. He seemed to learn from what he saw versus having to try it, and then would be like, okay, I learned, And so I really like Matthew. He wasn't perfect. He was human, but he had the most sense. He had the most compassion. He had the most consistency. So I love Matthew. If I had a character I could not stand in the book, it is Charlotte. And I'm trying to tell you this without giving away too much, so I don't want spoilers. But I couldn't stand Charlotte. At one point I was just like, they need to just get Charlotte out of this book. She is ridiculous. She's spoiled. She's entitled. Every time she doesn't get what she wants, she goes off on these tangents and does this and that, and she's harming the family. I didn't like Charlotte. So if I had, and you know, that's kudos to Kimberla Lawson Roby. If you can feel that strongly about a character, you have done your job. I mean, the author has done their job. If they can make you feel that strongly about a character for dislike. At the end, I like Curtis Black a lot more. I could see Curtis Black. I mean, I could see a realistic person as Curtis Black, and he really got on my nerves. But in the end, I did like him. If I were to choose a favorite book, it would be, the first one would be Casting the First Stone. And that one is simply because it's the first book in the series. So you get introduced to Curtis Black and his family and just all of his antics. So that one always sticks with me. Again, that one, it actually made me laugh at how ridiculous sometimes he acted. It also made me angry with how ridiculous he acted. So that's one of my favorites. The second favorite would be Too Much of a Good Thing, and that was the second book. And I would say the reason why I probably like that one is because it was still new to me, and also that was the first book that I got in the series. That's the one my sister bought me, so that's the one I like, and it really stood out to me. The third one that I would like is Sin of a Woman, and I like that one because it went off into other characters, and I don't want to say who they are, but there was one of the characters that I grew to like this character, and I liked it that they highlighted women in ministry and in working in the church, you know, and I liked that perspective. It was something different. And I also liked that one of the characters, you actually really followed her and her starting to change and really feeling guilty and really being convicted by what she was reading and teaching to people, you know, to the people at her congregation. And so she was actually starting to change. So you saw that, like, repentance. And that's something that wasn't super clear in all of the books, you know, just somebody really convicted. Then I liked the last one, and that was Better Late Than Never. And the reason why I like that one, again, because it had a fresh story. And that one kind of sums up everything. We see why people acted the way that they did. It's a lot more emotional and kind of a tearjerker. So it just kind of has that sentimental feel to it, kind of a aha, that's why this happened, or that's why this person acts like the way that they do. And so I really appreciated that one. And it didn't, some of it kind of ended really storybook happy, but some of it didn't. There was some, life isn't perfect, so it could not end perfectly. So I liked that about the book. If I had to choose one that I did not like the most, it would be this one right here, and that is Love, Honor, and Betray. And the reason why, you can probably guess, Charlotte got on my nerves. She acted so ridiculous. I love that word, I guess, because I keep using it. But she acted so ugly. That sounded like my mom and my grandma's now. She's acting so ugly in this book that it really got on my nerves, and I wanted to just throw the book down. I was through with Charlotte, and it was just was too much. How she was acting. And so I don't want to say exactly what she did, but it was to me, she needed to go to jail or something like that. I couldn't stand her in this book, and this book was one where I was really glad I was finished. Again, that's kudos to Kimberla Lawson Roby. She wrote the character so well and made her just so nasty and spoiled and entitled and selfish that I just didn't like her. So good job, Kimberla Lawson Roby. So that sums up my thoughts on the Reverend Curtis Black series. Again, I'll be reading more Kimberla Lawson Roby books as they come out. I do have one called Copycat that I need to read. And there's some other ones that I want to read. And I have read some other standalone titles in the past that I don't want to get into right now. Okay, so next on my list to read for the month of August is Too Much and Never Enough. So this is the book by Mary L. Trump and PhD, and I'm going to read this book, and I probably won't talk about it much. I might give a quick thought on it, but I'm not going to get into this one too much just because it's, some people may feel like it's political, and I don't want to get into that, but it's just something that I want to read personally. The next book that I plan on reading in August is The Vanishing Half, and this book is by Britt Bennett, and I'm excited to read this book. Not only will I be reading this book, but I have some other people that are going to be reading this with me. So again, people have asked, are you going to do a book club? And so I'm thinking that, yes, I'm going to do a book club, and we will meet at the end of this month, and I'll have a date later on and let everybody know. So if you're interested in discussing this book with me and others, please pick up your copy if you don't have it already. And one of my friends has already read the whole book. I think she read it in like 2 days or maybe a day. I don't know. She said she couldn't put it down. So that makes me really even more excited to read this book. So if you want to join us in talking about that, we'll be discussing it at the end of August. I'm not sure if I'm going to do a YouTube live or if I'm just going to do a video and then pose questions and then we all kind of talk in the comments. So I just have to decide because people are kind of all over the United States, and I don't know how we'll do with time if I were to do live, so I have to figure that out. But yeah, come along with us, read The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. So that's everything for today, and thank you for joining me. Have a great rest of your week, and remember to be blessed and be book nerdy.